So out of the 54 inches of double density LED tape, here are the different lengths that you're going to need. But before you cut any of it, make sure they're exactly what you want for what you want to do. The saucer is going to take the biggest amount. That's a full 2 feet, 24 inches, 25 segments of LED tape. Counted out, that's 25 segments. But before you make a single cut, make sure you like that length. With 25 segments, there's a slight bit of overlap in the back, or with 24 segments, you'll have a little less right around the impulse engines if you set it up that way. Each of the nacelles can take 9 to 11 segments each. The secondary hull is going to get 4 to 6, and whatever's left over, there should be a few inches, you can wrap that up inside the deflector dish below. Now there are 5 standard UV LEDs. You put one in each end of the bussards pointing directly out, one goes in the middle of the saucer pointing directly up at the bridge, one pointing directly down at the lower nipple, and then that 5th one is either an extra, or if you want to put that in a deflector dish instead of the LED tape, you can put that there too. I've tested it out and there's really no way to get the pylons to light up without getting severe hot spots at either end, and it really doesn't look good because the middle of the pylons is still dark. A strip of UV LED tape will fit inside each of the pylons, but one side is going to be dark because there's no light, and the other side is going to have a pile of hot spots because the LEDs are going to be pressed up right against it. So those are the various lengths. That's where the LEDs go. You've got enough wire and heat shrink to do all this. Let's get back to the construction. Alright, so before we get too deep into the actual construction here, there's a few things you're going to notice in the video. In order to properly light this, you have to cut into certain areas of the ship to make gaps for the wiring to run. So first up, right here at the neck, you're going to have to cut a hole in here. Pretty much doesn't matter where, as long as you don't damage the outside, of course. And concurrently, you're going to have to put a hole in the top of this. Do not cut off that ledge right there. You need that ledge. What you want to do is cut on the inside of there, leave the ledge, so you'll still be able to lock this in. You don't need a very big hole, it's just going to be a couple wires going through there, but you do need something. The rest of the neck hole is fine right there. Additionally, on this piece, you're going to have to cut away the very bottoms, or just cut a hole into this area here so that you can run the wires from the nacelles. Oops. Now the nacelle itself, there is plenty of room inside here. Let me get the other two to show you. So right in here there is a gap for the wires to run down, but it closes up right at that area there. So what I did on the model, and you'll probably see, is I cut a notch right down the middle. So essentially I left these two outer sides and just notched down the middle there to run the wires through. Once you've done that, with this hole there, there's even a dot right there, you can drill straight through that and that'll be perfect for you. One other note, I started to do this on my build, but I lost track of it and forgot to do it on some parts, is if you get a bunch of wax paper, crumple it up, you can stuff it inside all these parts and that'll kind of give it a cloudy sort of effect. It looked really nice in the couple pieces I did it, but then I forgot to put it in the other pieces, so I wound up taking it all out because it was impossible to put it back into the other areas that I had wanted to. Now I mentioned keeping the extra sprue around. To get the LEDs, two of them sitting out here in the middle so they face up at the bridge and down at this bottom nipple here, what I did was to get some sprue and I glued that along the side here to create a bridge, or an extension, basically a gangplank of sorts. And then at the very end of that I put one LED, propped it up this way, took the other, propped it down that way. That way you'll have two LEDs sitting in the dead center of here. There won't be any shadows from anything going on. And because it's the glow sprue, That will also glow, and it should also help to eliminate any possible shadows. Experiment with that, see what you like, do a lot of test fitting on this first. It's really important that you do all the test fitting.
Let's do it.